Hello everyone, welcome back with another text type and that is interview. In this video, we will explore how to write an interviewee's response for an IGCSE exam. If you really want to excel in a particular text type, I suggest you to analyze the examples found in IGCSE past papers. This is the best way, I think. By doing so, you'll gain valuable insights into what the Cambridge examiner is looking for in your responses during the exam. Now take a look at the example of this text type that is interview given in my June 2022 past paper. It was essentially an article that included an interview with a person. You can see the specific format that you will need to follow in your exams as well. This article is titled as Tough Mudder and it says Jaden D is a participant in Tough Mudder, an obstacle course endurance race. In this article, he has been interviewed by his local newspaper, the Redmond Gazette, that is RG. So don't forget that this is a local newspaper because the response from the interviewee will also exhibit or display informal language or the colloquial language. Now, this is the actual interview format. I would like to clarify an important point here that there are two roles in an interview: the interviewer and the interviewee. The interviewer is the person asking the questions, while the interviewee is the one providing the responses. In the IGCSE exam, you don't have to worry about the interviewer questions because the questions will already be provided to you. Instead, your focus will be on how to respond as an interviewee. Now look at the interview. It starts with a question which is already given in the question paper. And RG is the interviewer's name. If the name is given, then write the full name or the initials and put a colon there. If the name is not given, then you can simply write interviewer and then the colon. And then you write the question which is given in the question paper. And then there is response with the interviewee's name. Then simply again there is a colon and you form or develop that response by reading the insert. So look at the language used by the interviewee who is giving an interview to the local newspaper. D says, I found out online through social media and I was like, I think I can compete with these guys. I literally stayed up all night watching the 1 hour special from last year's competition and that's when I was hooked. I said to myself, I need to find a way to get into this. So then he says, well, I was super competitive through school and then I kind of he is talking to the locals. So he's using the phrases like, I was hooked, I kinda, well, got the bug again, I'm gonna. So these phrases, these are the common examples of colloquial language, and it's often used to convey a casual tone. When you say kinda, it means it's a shortened version of kind of. So it is also used to soften the statement. Now look at the way how D has used personal pronouns singular in his response. Like I found, I literally stayed up, I stayed active, I'm always, I did, I won't. It means the whole emphasis on himself. Then there are his thought bubbles, or you can say his own quotes. You can use quotations in your interviewee's response to means to give weightage or show authenticity to your responses. But here, D is using his own quotes. I think I can compete with these guys. I need to find a way to get into this. And then it depends on the question. For example, if he's using personal pronouns singular, it depends on the question that how did you find out about Tough Mudder? It means it's all about himself. That's why he's talking about himself using personal pronoun I singular. And then look at the last question: how do you see yourself doing? It means it's talk about the other the community as well. So he is talking about his own community. Represent Redmond, easy for people to forget, but I don't Redmond guy. So he want to represent himself, he want to show himself as a Redmond guy. So it depends on the question, what kind of person, what kind of pronouns you are using or you're talking. Now look at another example of interview given in February March 2023 past paper. And the question and the statement says the following passage is taken from an interview with a young student of fashion design. Special niche is taken for this. For a fashion magazine. It's a fashion magazine, and the interviewee is a young student of fashion design. So look at the language used by this interviewee here. Interviewer, again colon, ask a question. Giorgio, you are about to study for a degree in fashion design. So I imagine fashion is an essential part of your life. This is not even a direct question. I imagine fashion is an essential part of your life, and how Giorgio is a young student in fashion industry, how he responds to this question. Of course, but I think most young people look to develop their own style, their own identity, and then he says, we're all not obsessed with being on trend. It means he's not using personal pronoun singular, he's using personal pronoun plural as we. And he's also using third person pronoun as well. Their own style means he's being inclusive here because he is from the fashion industry, from the fashion design. That's why he is including everyone here. Then Giorgio is using repetition here, their own style, their own identity. Look at the question here. I imagine fashion is an essential part of your life. Means Giorgio could have used I, my, or personal pronouns, but here he is not using personal pronouns. He is using third person, like their own style, because he is representing young people here. Here, Giorgio using power of three, like your lifestyle, your body, your image, because he knows that who he is talking to. He's being interviewed for the fashion magazine, so he knows that the audience, the specific audience of the fashion magazine, is the young people. That's why he's talking directly to them, your lifestyle, your body, and your image. At one point, he says, we are not mere followers, we are aware, because here he is working as a representative. He's also a young person who is studying fashion. That's why he is just being inclusive here again. Now we have an example from my June 2021 past paper, and the statement says the following text is an interview given by a well known conservationist. Here we do not have interviewer's question, but we have the interviewee's response. Here, the conservationist, as an interviewee, is using formal language throughout his interview. Look at the present continuous verbs used here. Like, we are destroying, forests are disappearing, dams are draining, we are burning, we are breeding. Means this present continuous verbs, they're used to create a sense of urgency and action because he is a conservationist. That's why he's using such kind of grammatical structures here. Here, the interviewee is using direct quotations in the form of thought bubbles. For example, the first line says, many people are giving up hope and thinking, well, there is nothing I can do on my own. So he is having the direct quotes. He's not talking about himself, but the people, how, what do they think? And then he is using, in the last paragraph, he is using rhetorical questions. For example, what do I buy? What do I eat? And what do I wear? How was it made? And where did it come from? Such kind of rhetorical questions basically use to engage the reader and it encourages the people to think. Being a conservationist, he is using personal pronoun plural, like we are destroying, we are breeding billions of animals, and we are burning. We need to start thinking. It means he is putting all the blame on themselves. There is also a use of power of three, such as every individual, every school or college, every community, or for people, for animals, and for the environment. Using this kind of strategies, either repetition or the power of three in an interview, it makes it easier for the audience to remember and recall. And it can also create emotional impact. And the last paragraph, the interview is asking the readers to take action to address climate change. For example, he says, I support an environmental project for young people called Roots and Shoots. And the last paragraph, he says, we have a window of opportunity for making some changes. It means that he's asking or encouraging the readers to support the Roots and Shoots project. Now, this is the moment to discuss all the possible questions from the past papers that have been given to write an interviewee's response in the exams. Look at the question given in October November 2024 past paper. You're Lawrence. You're interviewed about the elephants in River Game Reserve for a magazine article about animal conservation. This is again for a magazine article, so you must know which audience you are addressing. The interviewer asks you the following three questions only. So, number one question, how did you come to be responsible for the elephants? And what were your concerns before they arrived? Means, how were you responsible? And then your concerns before the elephants arrived. Second question, what challenges did you face when the elephants came into your care and how did you deal with them? Challenges and the solutions. And then the third one is, how are the elephants settling now? And what advice would you give other game reserve owners about elephants? So these three questions only you have to give the interviewee response after reading the insert. Now there is a question from February March 2022 past paper, Your Fateh, following the release of Wall's book about the experiences at Ranthambore. Ranthambore is basically a tiger reserve. And the work you have been doing there, you are interviewed by for a national television show. So don't forget, you're interviewed for the national television show. So remember who's your audience there. The interviewer asks you the following three questions only. Number one, what does Ranthambore offer visitors? What might our viewers like? Means you're directly talking to your viewers, to talking to those visitors who are going to visit Ranthambore. So, like about Ranthambore and if they visited, and what sort of thing could they do there? Second question, can you tell us about the various different people and animals associated with Ranthambore and how you feel there and you have contributed to Ranthambore success? So the third one is Ranthambore is located near SM. How and why has SM changed since 1976? And this last question is from October-November 2020 past paper. And the question says, you're Maria, you're interviewed for a television program. It means your audience is all the viewers there. About the people with interesting job and what kind of interesting job it is. The interviewer asked you the following three questions. So question one, what do your clients particularly enjoy about the jungle trip? So it means it's about jungle. What skills and qualities make you a good guide? So this is an interesting job. Like Maria is a guide. How do you advise your clients to prepare for the challenges of the jungle? So it means your suggestion or advice to the people. So I leave my audience with this question. Can you guess what is common among these three questions? I simply leave it to my audience now.